Hi, graduate students. This is Dr. Julie Epker, and if you are watching this video, that means that you have decided on comprehensive exams for your capstone option for the master's program. So congratulations. That means that you are wrapping up your master's degree, and in this short video, I will describe some general ideas about how to prepare for comprehensive exams to unpack the process. Please know that you will receive, if you haven't already, a copy of the COMPS guidelines that has a detailed list of tasks and information as well as target dates for you to do your planning for your comprehensive exam semester. So let's get started. Before you go further with this presentation, please make sure to watch an accompanying video that talks about the steps to complete your comprehensive exam forms and the process. The link is here on this the screen, and as I mentioned before, you're going to be wanting to have the comprehensive exam guidelines from me and from your advisor in the near future. Oops. So a little bit of overview about the comprehensive exam process. As you may already have known, it is a 0 credit option. You typically are taking your comprehensive exams the same semester where you're taking some of your 2 or 3 possibly of your master's courses. If you're a part-time person, maybe it might be 1 course that you're taking along with preparing for comprehensive exams. So that is the capstone. It's going to, as I mentioned in a previous video, you'll be wrapped up by the mid-semester of the term that you're taking them, and you will be all wrapped up and ready to graduate by the time the semester is over. So that's great news. Typically you take the comprehensive exams in your final semester of the master's program, and it consists of 3 areas: communication theory, communication research methods, and an area of specialization. So you have 3 areas that you're going to be writing about and then ultimately talking about in your oral defense, and you will have 3 committee members. This means that you will have your 1 advisor as a committee member and 2 other faculty members who will take the lead on 1 area. So for communication theory, I would suggest you pick a course that you have taken that has had quite a bit of theory to it. Most of our communication graduate seminars have a great deal of theory, so that's an area that you're going to want to take for your communication theory exam area. For research methods, we have 2 courses, quantitative or qualitative research methods, so you will choose one of those 2 areas to focus on. And then lastly, you'll choose an area of specialization. That could be a course that isn't necessarily so theory-based, or it could be a mashup of 2 courses of which you have an interest. So think about and consult with your advisor on who you would like to have on your committee and what particular areas each committee member will take the lead on. So this is a fairly text-heavy slide, and I won't go through all of it, but one of the questions that often comes up is who does what and when during the comprehensive exam process. So in general, you and your advisor are going to be doing most of the heavy lifting in your comprehensive exam semester, and your committee members will be there to assist. And of course, I am there also to coordinate facilities and make sure that you get the COMPS guidelines, that your advisor gets the COMPS temp bank, but you and your advisor will really work closely in terms of identifying your exam areas. Your advisor will be the one to reach out to the 2 other committee members to get their test items, as well as be the person who coordinates getting the test questions to you, and coordinating getting the test answers that you have provided written to your committee members. So take a moment, pause this presentation to overview what are the tasks that are involved in each role, and also consult the comprehensive exam guidelines, because that provides even more information about who does what and when. So the general procedure, you will talk with your advisor, and your advisor will give you all the questions and articles depending on your methodology a month in advance. So for your specialization and your theory, you will get 3 test items or exam items, whereas for your methods, you will get 3 articles that represent the chosen methodology, qualitative or quantitative, and you will get 1 test item. So that means so you will prepare for everything. So you will review all of the articles as you would using the item that's been provided, and you will prepare for all 3 questions for your communication theory and all 3 questions for your specialization. On the day of your writing, you will be given 1 question for theory, 1 article for method, and 1 question for specialization, and that's what you will be writing on. Later on in the semester, you will defend or talk about your answers in an oral defense state after your committee has reviewed your answers. So here are some preparation guidelines. First off, you want to make sure to meet with your advisor the semester before you plan on taking comprehensive exams and identify the committee members you'd like to have on your committee, and then also identify the areas in which you want to focus for your writing of your exams. You will continue to meet with your advisor throughout the semester in which you write your exams. So when you get your exam items from your advisor, it's a good idea to review them and then talk through them with your advisor. As well as once you can finish with writing, you will again meet with your advisor to clarify any feedback or talk through feedback that your committee has had on your written answers before the oral exam. You are also encouraged to meet with your committee members after you receive the items and the articles. They will not give you the answers to the exam items, of course, but they are resources to talk through some of the things that you might have some questions on, identify particular gaps, and also they'll be able to tell you their specific expectations for good answers. There is a matrix for each, or a rubric for each exam area that is online through the school communication website, and that is the rubric that your committee members will use to assess your exams, so do check that out. In addition, you will want to review, as I mentioned, the exam matrix because it is going to be helpful to see how you should be answering your written items and your oral presentation at the end of the semester. Okay, students often have a lot of questions about exam writing days, so I want to overview that in a little more detail. So the written exam, it consists of 2 back-to-back days and 3 2-hour time slots on those days. It can be remote or in person, and that's something that you need to talk with your advisor about. And you need to notify your advisor if you have any testing and accommodations that have been approved by the Disabled Student Services Office at Western. A typical schedule would be happening that your writing days would happen in week 8 of the semester. Day 1 typically consists of theory and specialization, so you may write on theory first from 10 to noon, take an hour break for lunch, and then come back from 1 to 3 and write on your specialization. Day 2 is a little bit lighter. You write on just your methodology. Say again, you write from 10 to 2 and you're finished. A laptop will be provided to you by the School of Communication, as well as the writing space. Often it's the Clifford Center or the Doran Conference Room. This laptop will have no internet access, and it is a MacBook Air, just to give you a heads up if you're used to a PC format. You may bring a flash drive or a note card for your citations. So bring a flash drive because you're going to be saving your written answers on it and giving that flash drive to the person who is proctoring, either the committee member or your advisor who's proctoring that day. And they will transfer it onto their own computer and circulate it to the advisor, who will give it to the rest of the committee. The COMPS guidelines goes into this a lot more detail, but it is acceptable for you to bring a 3x5-inch note card with citations for each area. So 3 note cards total, 1 for each exam area, that will help you remember your the articles or sources that you want to use and cite in your written answers, because you will want to use it is expected that you will use in-text citation for your answers. There's no reference list needed. This slide gives you some best practices. This is also written in the COMPS guidelines, but you may want to pause this slide for a moment and look it over in more detail, and it gives you some bullet points on what is expected for a competent or a successful exam answer. So let's fast forward. You finished your writing days. The answers have been back to your committee, and your advisor has talked with the committee members and gotten some general feedback, and now it's time about your answers, and now it's time for you to meet with your advisor before the oral defense. So this is an opportunity for the advisor not to give you back the answers, but to at least talk through your answers with you. You should not have your answers until you get to the defense meeting. You are able to take notes about the feedback that your advisor is communicating, not only from their perspective, but also from the committee members. And this is an opportunity for you to find out if there was anything you missed. Was there an omission? Does something in your answer need clarification? And that's what you will prepare for when you go into the final oral defense. You also at this time want to make sure that you have clarity on the meeting format and the time. You should by this time have already set up a time for you to have your oral defense. Typically it's towards the last part of the semester, and committee members get very busy, so I would encourage you to set your oral defense date early, as soon as you're done with your written answers for sure, to make sure that everybody can get to one time and place. So you get to your oral defense meeting, your advisor will give you your responses to refer to. You already have your notes from the previous preparation meeting, and the committee will begin with giving you feedback and asking you questions about your exam items. Each committee is slightly different, so I'm going to defer to your advisor to let you know how he or she will run this particular meeting. At the oral defense, typically faculty members ask you to expand on your answers, elaborate on your answers, perhaps talk through the answers or add to them if the answers are already strong. And if you ran out of time while you were writing, this is the opportunity for you to add in on those omissions. So that wraps up this presentation. This is an overview that accompanies the previous video about process and forms, as well as the detailed COMP guidelines, but hopefully it can give you some more clarification as you go into the capstone experience and have you feel comfortable about doing your best. Good luck.